What's going on, everybody? Up $120 in the first hour of trading. Not the greatest morning. It was kind of slow. I had a few opportunities to take some big wins and just didn't cash in on them. I did end up finishing the day over 3,000, 3,300 to be exact. So it ended up being a good day thanks to BPTH. Jeez. But other than that, pretty slow morning. But let's get into the trades. Okay, so there's going to be two trades that I'm going to show back to back in this clip. And the reason being is because I took a trade and then took another trade while one trade was open and then covered them or closed them both up. So the first one is ARQL. This one, you can see on the daily chart, get rid of this. It was gapping up, gapping up quite a bit. And I just thought it was going to sell off. Just kind of flagging here, pre-market, and alligates. It just didn't look like it was doing much. Chat room I subscribed to, they went short as well, seeing the same thing I saw. So I went short, and sure enough, it took a nice little dip. I went short. I don't usually take a trade in the first minute or two, for that matter, but I went short at 450. It drops all the way down to 330, which had, if I'd been paying attention, I would have seen that this was support pre-market, but I wasn't. So it would have been a $400 winner if I would just covered right there, but I didn't. I thought I was going to continue down lower. Then it pops back up, rips higher, and then it sells off, right? So this move, let me just close that all up here. All right, so dip and rip, and then the sell off here kind of told me, okay, it's weak. Now it's going to go lower, right? So it keeps pushing lower, lower, and this is where I got worried. Instead of breaking through the lows here, breaking through this low, this level right here, it double bottomed. That's a bullish sign. So when it started moving back up and breaking the VWAP, I was like, screw this. I'm just covering. I'm getting out. So I covered at 447 for basically 2.5 pennies, 40 bucks or so. So if it wanted to bounce, that's fine. I didn't want to be in it when it did. Sure enough, it did bounce higher. It did come back down and test this lows before absolutely ripping later on. And yeah, it was just, it didn't do what I thought it was going to do. So as I always say, if it doesn't do what you thought it was going to do, let it go and move on. The second trade I took was just one that was off of my Hive Day Low Float scanner. It's not one that I'm familiar with. I haven't really traded it that much, but it hits my scanners. I flip over to it, and I think it was right over, what was it, 937? So inside this candlestick right here. And I look at the daily chart. I see that it can pop up, drop, pop, drop, pop, drop. So it can move. And so I gave it a whirl. I took 4,000 shares at 146, and I get in, and I'm holding, 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 and it doesn't do anything. And at this time, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get out, because if it's not going to run and start pushing 150 soon, I'm out. I get out, and as soon as I get out, it makes the move over 150 before kind of selling off. So, again, didn't do what I thought it was going to do, so I got out. I got out for +2 on 4,000 shares, so 80 buck winner on that one.
So I've got a starter at 1833. Let's see what this does.
I'm short ARQL 450.
ALT on the scans. No, I'll buy into the surge. I mean, I will at half
And then
dollars
I
and
had a
whole dollars.
10K
There are
bid, and I
times
RHE
where I'm
put
hitting
comfortable
the
buying
scanners.
that, but
see on the left-hand
I
side.
just
Or
on
if
a
you
really high price
just
stock in the
missed
$20
that.
range, I'm
I'll go long
more
on it.
That was
cautious about
beauty.
that because I know I
Fill
can lose
100
50 cents
shares
to a
of
dollar
the
very, very quickly.
10,000 shares, and I said I thought it could go from 270 to 360 was the range on it, and I ended up just taking the $3,000
I'm
in
all
profit.
out 148. I don't
But the
actually like the
context
daily
for the
chart on it, so
for
I'm
the
YETI
entry,
Yeti
just let it
Holdings,
the
go.
10,000
August
shares at 205,
25 call
I
active
used
now.
it.
It's not impossible to be down $1 per share on this stock.
Alright, I've covered
So let's
my
watch the resumption. We'll see where it
ARQL
is. I might actually go to
447.
500
Broke the
shares to
VWAP.
start, and I can
Thought it
just
was going to
always
go low
add,
day, then a double
if I want
bottom.
to.
So I got to respect that. It's coming back
So
through the
I'm just going
VWAP
to watch
again.
it on
I'll have to
resumption.
wait for maybe
Okay,
a 1
so
minute
let's look
candle
for
under candle
resumption
entry.
here. Okay, so it
VPTH is
opened
open
about
now,
flat,
hitting $24.
ended down.
So this next trade was Kroger. Kroger had really bad earnings. I felt like it would be bought up today because it's a stock that a lot of investors like. They just had a bad earnings, so I thought investors would take advantage of this and buy into it. So I was you can kind of see it kind of moved up pre-market, dropped below the VWAP, tested the VWAP, came back down. And right here was my signal to go long. It made a higher low, so you can kind of see it sold off, sold off, but this sell-off didn't make a new low. It made a higher low, okay? So now we have an uptrend forming. And I meant to go in and get in right here at 24.93. I was kind of slow. I get filled at 24.99, which is at the top of my range because if I do my drawing, and you'll see me do it when I do live, I did one of these, okay? And this is kind of resistance level, and you kind of see the move that I was buying into hit this resistance level. I was looking for this resistance level to break and get a run up, and that would have caused a nice little squeeze. Fortunately, it didn't happen that way. If I do the kind of put the lows together here, actually it probably would have been when I was getting it. It was probably looked more like that. So anyway, it's a wedge forming. It could either pop or drop. I get in. I'm thinking this is going to break and move. Domino, and boom. And unfortunately, the next candle opens up, and then it breaks the downside of this wedge. And I was using the low of the lowest point of this candle, which was like 24.86 as my stop loss. It broke that. I stopped out at 24.85 for a minus 14 cents. So almost $300 loss on that one, which sucked. And it was the right decision to get out because you see it kept going until later on it broke this resistance level, went sideways, boom, and caught a bid. Just a pop. Obviously it sold off later on until it finally it did get a little bit more action later on. Did it finish up on the day? I can't even remember. Let's take a look. No, I don't know. It was all over the place. So, yeah, it just didn't work out. Good idea, just did not work out.
So I'm going to look into a 1 minute and a 10-second chart here. High of this current 1 minute candle is 28.40. So watching here, where's the spot that we're going to get the break? I think I'd like to let this candle close rather than buying it here. I think over what is this? 27.46, no, 27.69. Might get the first. Let's watch the 1 minute pullback here, but I'm not sure. It would be along over 27.69 right now.
So this next trade really, really hurts. Okay, so this is TROV. News comes out that, well, first off, it hits my low float scanner, and I go long when I see it just kind of starting to hit my scanner. It's got a history of pops So I take it long, and the thing has it in common is it's a pharmaceutical company, and it's a super low float. We're talking, I believe it is like 700,000 shares. You know what else is 700,000 shares? BPTH, the stock that went from freaking $5 to 70. What is the high today? $73. Okay, that is why I was so attracted to this stock, but it just didn't. It couldn't get wings, right? So anyway, I go long because it hits my low float scanner. Volume looks like it's starting to come into it. You can kind of see this is the volume. This is the volume, before I was in it. Then this volume starts to come in, and I'm like, okay. And there's kind of the high day break as well. But as soon as I get into it, you'll hear Benzinga chime in saying, rumor that they have their abstract out and it's positive, blah, blah, blah. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I have the next BPTH right here. It's moving up. I thought it was going to halt. It breaks $4. I'm like, here we go. Here we freaking go. Nope. I hold, candle over candle, and we make a lower high. We did not continue to move up. I should have gotten out right there. I did not. I was holding, looking for the secondary move, and you'll see me draw this important wedge here. I drew it like this. Let's just zoom in, okay? There's the highs. There's the lows. And I was like, okay, I have a wedge. Actually, it's more like this, I believe. Yeah, that looks better. So I'm like, okay, whichever way it goes, I got to respect it. So it starts to break to the downside of this wedge. And when it starts to do that, I sell my first lot at 375 for basically, what is that, +8, okay? And then I'm like, I get distracted by looking at other stock, and I ended up having to sell the second lot at 362 for a loss of 8. So I ended up losing money on this trade. And at one point I was up over $1,200 on it when I was making these pops here. I should have sold half. I had a double position size. Just really frustrating that this didn't go like I thought it was going to go. And then, later on it does make stupid moves. So even more frustrating. But what can you do? I should have taken half. That was my fault. I should have taken and just sold half, locked in profit in case this happened. Because again, I couldn't find if the rumor was true that it had a positive abstract or not. I was just going off of what Benzinga said. Benzinga did tell me it was a rumor. So shame on me. Let a big winner slip through my fingers.
BPTH on the 5-minute may set up.
Germany's Altmaier says Berlin must insist on reciprocity in key trade ties,
TROV hitting the
including
scanners
with
again.
China.
Along TROV, 367.
I'm trying to take a starter. I'm not fully filled on my order on TROV. This one,
It's hitting resistance
I
right
like
here as it
because of
halts.
recent reverse split and news today.
TROV Trovagene, hearing
I'm long
that their
TROV
prostate
here.
cancer abstract is
I'm
out,
going to try to scalp
and
this
hearing
over
it's positive.
$4.
Oh my gosh, they just dropped some news
That's
too.
Tango Romeo Oscar
Prostate
Victor.
cancer
That's
abstract
unconfirmed.
is out,
Unconfirmed
and
on
it's positive.
TROV.
Unconfirmed news.
Okay, so watch this keep going over $4. I'm okay with that. I want to try to scalp it over
This
4
one I might just hold on
and
to.
sell
See if this
into
abstract
the
is real.
410 push. So halt level now is 407 on TROV.
Because this is a super low float stock that can move.
MAR, Marriott.
Out half at 375. Out the rest, 362. CBLI is starting to move now.
So here's another one that slipped through my fingers. XSPA. It hits my low float scanner that I have running here. I pull it up. I kind of have my finger on, got my finger on the buy button when I see it, and I'm just kind of watching the L2. I'm looking for bids to show up, looking for maybe volume to start going through, buyer stepping in, and when I see that, I double click the buy button. I get in at basically a 487 average here on 4,000 shares. Okay, so we get this pop up, crazy pop, and then it halts. I'm like, sweet. Okay, we're kind of blowing past these levels on the daily chart. Where can this go? All right. If I would have looked back far enough, I would have seen that has resistance over 5. So, no shame on me for not looking at that. But nonetheless, I was like, we're halting right at 5. This thing's going to crush 5. So it unhalts, and it's a very soft opening, as in not a lot of volume going through. So I give it a second, and I'm watching this thing, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna go, and then it dips down really hard. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I sell half, 480, basically minus 5 on the trade, and then it kind of moves back up towards $5, and I'm like, okay, I don't like how it opened. I need to start bailing for profit and get out at 498. So overall, I think I made 5 cents on the trade, maybe $100. I can't remember, but it was a good decision to get out on that kind of open, because you guys see it just kind of sold off from there.
XSPA is worth keeping an eye on. EPTH, I'll keep watching.
I'm long Expa, 485.
I've got a starter on XSPA. This has room up to 640, the 200 moving average.
Is it gonna halt?
XSPA, X-ray Sandy Papa Alpha halted on a
Okay.
circuit breaker.
So I just added on XSPA. So I'm in it now, 495. The high there is 503, so watch a break of 503. There's 503, 520.
Yuck. All out, 490
So the high is
average.
520.
So this next trade was a news play. So I had been watching TROV just for maybe a reversal setup to see if it would go again. I had it up on the 5-minute, and it was kind of doing maybe an ABCD pattern. I don't know. It was just, it was kind of boring. It was just what I had up at the time. But Benzinga reports that Maxim reiterates their $8 price target on this thing. So I'm like, okay, let's see if it moves. So I jump in, and I actually take 5,000 shares on this one. And I'm like, okay, let's see if this will get it going. Because at this point, it just kind of didn't do anything besides sell off. So I jump in right here, 369, jumps up, and pulls back, which I was totally fine with holding through. I wanted to see if it would hold the view up. It did. Then we go candle over candle. And when that happens, I want to see this thing move up and go, right? Continue the trend. Candle over candle, continue the trend. When it does this just basically move up by a penny. That's a bear sign for me. So at that point, I start selling. and I do it in 1,000 share lots. I'm watching the L2. There's 1,000 shares on the L2. I want to start exiting 1,000 at a time. If I would have hit $5,000 market or 5,000 share market order, it probably would have just tanked the price. But sometimes if you leak out your shares slowly, the market maker will just eat them. And I think that's what happened here. So I was able to get out at 374-ish on 5,000 shares, basically plus 5, $250.
So stopped out.
TROV, Tango Romeo Oscar Victor, Maxim, reiterating their $8 price target. Says positive data for
All right,
on
Maxim
Vansler
out.
Rib should represent
$8
catalyst for
price
the
target.
stock. That's Tango Romeo Oscar
I'll
Victor
jump in
getting
it, see if
a
it can move now.
reiteration from
5,000
Maxim
on
with
the day.
$8 price target.
Before it really opens up. I just want to make sure I don't give back too much profit taking stabs. That last one was a $2,000 loss, so that I'm not crazy about. I want to try to avoid that again.
Shares of Tesla hitting new highs now,
Ultimately, I don't think the 5 minutes
284.42.
is
Tango
ready.
Sandy
I think
Lima
it can pull
Alpha.
back a little longer here before it opens up. So if
All
it
out,
goes right now, I'm going to feel
374
really not
TROV.
good about buying it.
So this last trade again was one that slipped through my fingers. So I had this nice wedge forming here on KR, and it created a multiple test of the support line. That's why I drew that. So you have the one low here, another low here, another low here. So this is a solid support line, right? So what I was looking for is to get in as close to this support line as I could, anticipating that we would, on the next move up, potentially break through the top side. If we didn't, I would stop out for profit still at the top of the trend line. See how it rejected the resistance line multiple times. So, worst case scenario, I'd get out right there. So I get in as close to that line as I could. What was it? 1038. So inside this candle, I get in. The support line here is basically 24.94. I get in right on that 24.94. So I buy that. Gets that curl up. We get the break. So now I'm thinking, okay, now we're going to get a breakout. We're going to get this move up to the upside in a big way. Pops to 25.06. Goes to 25.07, and then boom, someone just sells a crap ton. When I see that, that tells me it's a false break. So yes, everything was aligned for this to break out, but when you see it just drop pretty heavily as well, it's a false breakout. You got to respect that. And I ended up stopping out for just a penny for $20. It was a good decision because you can kind of see it kind of sold off all the way down through here. Definitely wouldn't want to have held on to it on this drop. There's that rip that it took later on in the day. It should have taken it here, and it didn't. So it didn't do what I thought it was going to do. Had to take the profit and move on. And that's how I finished the first hour of trading, up $128. If you're interested in my trading style and you have questions on trading, or if you're not interested in my trading style and you still have questions on trading, come on in. We have a lot of people in my free chat room that are here to help, have wildly different trading styles than myself. There's no one perfect way to trade. We're all here to make money. We're all here to help other people make money. We want to change your financial family tree. This is a hard thing to do, and doing it on your own is almost impossible. So get help, let people help you, and that's what we're here for. Come on in. Link for the chat room is in the description of this video. On that, I'll see you guys in the next one.